Hey guys, it's me again, Orpsler. What is where I last left off is, let's see, checklist, checking. They got to UA, talked about it. All Might met Deku. Deku has 3 girlfriends. Bakugo, Momo, and Saphira. He had a Vietnam flashback essentially a Vietnam flashback during class. He and Saphira are the top place students, pretty much. Anything else I'm missing? Nope, not really. So, a week passes, well, it's the next day, and now they're going through the usual stuff they usually would. They go through the whole, training? Like hero course training and such. They got very good grades and such. And they all meet up before they get to school. Except for Momo. Momo's excluded. For now. So as they're riding the train, they see Momo there. So as they all just start talking, Saphira staying close, Bakugo staying close, Momo staying closest. Yep. Plus Saphira staying closest. What they all tried to not vie for his attention, just try to just sort of talk to him as they normally would. Because the 3 of them sort of came to agreement they shouldn't be trying to shove each other out the spotlight. He'll pay attention to all of us. They know this, and if he doesn't, well, the other 2 who he's paying attention to and the one he isn't, will sort of nudge him to go interact with the other one. Or to focus on all 3 of them. So it's 1/3 of each of his mind is staying focused on them. The rest is schooling and such, and the last of it is Dragon Slayers. Just talk with his mother a bit more, saying that they've got a few dragon reports appearing now and then. Well, appearing more. It said that the Hero Association is going to assign some people here who can take on dragons, or at least dragon level. He's maybe that's why we haven't dealt with anything, because he's I've heard that some dragons chill in the mountains and such, but since when I flew around for miles around, so now that I'm absent, they may be trying to come in and claim my territory, as he would say this. They're thinking about this. She's like, that is logical. It's amazing. And, sorry. For the mythologies and such, let me give a short explanation. The Chinese or Asian dragons who are depicted serpent-like with legs and such, they're going to be physically weak but very strong when it comes to the elements. Deku's specific type of breed of dragon are the ones that are sort of, and they have the Asian ones sort of have a god complex, because that's what they've been raised around to be believed as, which some of them have the power to back it up to be able to control the weather and the like. Now with Deku's specific breed, his normal breed, would be referred to as, when it comes to him, the thing he has to worry about is falling to his instincts. Such as, for him, for his, I said, specific breed of dragon, their, thing is that they could just revert back to a savage state and be stuck there. The ones from the serpent dragons could just become similar in the ways that they become stuck in that form and that they just roam the seas, attacking any ships. There's other ones like hydras and such. They are ones that, I know about hydras and that they're pretty similar to normal dragons. And the thing about 2 heads getting cut off, that is true. Then there's the other ones from mythologies who are described as being greedy and such. There's those ones. And another one. One of you guys said the Shoji? octo arms. I believe his name is Shoji, and his octupla arms. He, like one of you were asking, oh, is he an Earth Dragon? I didn't quite understand it. You said, like, Earth Dragons have multiple limbs. I'm guessing what you mean is a wingless dragon, which is referred to as a drake. There's drakes, which are pretty much wingless dragons that go on all fours. There's worms. It's like W-Y-R-M. Wyrm. Then there's wyverns. Then there's dragons. And such. There's a few little things. But to continue forward, there's like each one, there's a reason why they say some are greedy, some are just more animalistic, and some are more godlike. It's what they've been there for ages. And religion is somewhat twisted now for certain things, like for Christianity, dragons were seen as like the spawn of the devil and such. So there used to be like entire things for just hunting down a dragon, and it was essentially like witch trials all over again. They had no way to prove someone was a dragon. They just like would say, oh, I'm pretty sure this person is a dragon. And just imagine the witch trials and such. And some as I would heard from a guy called Alternate History, what he said, and I think that what he says makes sense, is that if dragons actually existed, pilgrims, saints and such, or people of the church who want to become important, would go on like a sort of hunt, and hunt a dragon because they were considered demons. And like, why am I getting hair in my mouth? And as this it goes down the line with anywhere that's really been a dragon, there's like legends of, like in Norse mythology, like I think it was Norse mythology, some of them are referred to be as noble and such. It all refers to like how their upbringing is and how their specific strand of dragon is attracted and such, but I digress. As they all continue forward and such, they get to school and start doing their normal routine and such. They all get the whole thing, like they go on until the day when further into the day when it finally gets to the, not practical exam, but the hero versus villains. So, this will be a special thing, in a way. I haven't really thought about this part, so I'm just going with the flow. What will be happening now is that they are kind of, because they've been also cranking their heads on what to do for Saphira and Deku, because they want to give them the ability to use their full access to their powers somewhat. So what they do is that they have like one of the bigger buildings, so they can at least go into third degree. So as they explain the whole thing, and it's pretty similar matchups, except it's Momo and Katsuki, Momo and Saphira, with Katsuki and Deku being paired together. So as they're like, alright. And the costumes are pretty much the same, except for Saphira and Deku, who are still wearing their things, like their little shorts and stuff. Some of them question about that, and they're like, oh, well, it's just that, we can't really get full bodysuits, like Mountain Lady and such, because of like the ability to grow wings. Like she can get one because, she needs to get one that's more full bodied with like the wing things. And it's always confused me. How is that so stretchy? If you think, and if you would think, I think it's similar to how Muriel has his thing, is that as she grows, since it like has her hair and such, it like grows with her. So that way it doesn't just like as she grows, it just stretches out or it just breaks. So yeah. But since they don't really have that option, I guess they sort of entangle their hairs and such with it. Their special suits, so that way it doesn't look like they're wearing... It was made to look like it would blend in with their skin much better, With this, it actually does look like their actual skin and such. So, yeah. It's weird, I know, but deal with it, please. As we continue forward, Deku and, like, Katsuki are talking about a plan. So they're like, So, do you got a plan? Well, well, I was thinking that, well, me and you could go from up above and down below. I would go from down below, you would come up from up above. So that way we can pincer them, you know? Like, I see. Because I don't know if that was against the rules or not. Is that, could they, like, climb on top of the building and enter from the roof? Or what? So as he enters from the bottom, here's Momo and Saphira's strategy. They believe that Deku will have to be trapped and such. Katsuki, Saphira has a pretty good chance against. And with Momo there, with her ability to support, Deku would probably be their biggest threat. They're both pretty significant threats, but one's more so than the other. So as Katsuki gets there first, and she gets taken down. It's like a pretty difficult battle. She's blowing up and nearly gets to a bomb a few times, but with Momo, like, eventually, like, somewhat tackling her, and then Saphira jumping on her and them getting her tied up. She's like, oh, come on. She is not using that whole giant grenade gauntlet thing. Well, she is, but she isn't trying to just completely do that. Because I've been trying to think of a way that could be done, but it's nothing really else. It's just the same thing. Big grenade gauntlets and such with... It's pretty interesting. Now comes Deku. Saphira and Momo will have to lie in wait, being very patient and such. Saphira hanging by the door, and Momo in the back with, like, one of those capture nets, like, and just as it happens, like, Deku throws a solid piece of concrete into the thing, like, and Momo launches it, and Saphira jumps down. They're like, oh crap, as he lunges forward, grabbing Saphira and tossing her at Momo. Saphira manages to stop herself, then, like, grabs onto a pillar and flings herself backwards. Back. As Deku is about to touch the bomb, she comes and clashes with them. He's like, oh, it's been a long time since we've had a fight like this. It's like, I'll show you, I'll beat you down this time. Well, let's see about that. As they commence their martial arts. Deku having his personalized martial arts, which involves him, like, using his tail to his advantage. Since he's bigger and such, he tries to go for wide swipes and such, using his claws, and at points trying to bite, using his powerful jaws. Since Saphira is very more agile and such, she has to be, like, more on the defensive, trying to dodge and, like, get little strikes in when she can. When Momo tries the whole thing again, Deku dodges out of the way, and it sort of gets on Saphira. She cuts her way through it very quickly, but not before Deku manages to handcuff Momo. So, as Deku continues forward, two of them are having a very long battle. Deku clawing and such. He doesn't shoot out any lasers, but Saphira, seeing her chance every now and then, goes like blasting a bit of fire and ice. It doesn't really bother Deku. He just shakes it off and goes back on the defensive. Dang it, it's trying to yawn again. I'm trying not to yawn. It's just that when it comes up, it's like, I'm trying to hold it in, but as he's forcing Saphira back, it's a push. Just as he manages to at one point just finally pin her, and he's like on her back, and she's like, come on, as she's trying to wiggle out and such. Deku's like trying to keep her pinned in, so she thinks the one thing she can do, right below the belt. He's like, oh, you cheated. Oh. as he's just like in there in immense pain, some of the other guys were in the room. They're like, oh, as they themselves feel it as it just happens. All Might's like, oh God. Even All Might can somewhat feel it. He's like, oh jeez. As it's just like this whole feeling, as all the guys just let out a groan as they saw this. Oh, Deku like barely staggers to his feet. As he's like kneeled over, Katsuki's like, what's wrong with you? She just hit me below the belt. He's like winded and such, so much pain, nothing compared to what the people at, even what people at the Dragon Slayers did. It was nothing compared to like getting hit like that, especially since it was her elbow. She went like straight up or straight down, and he's like just slowly but surely recovering. His tail is coiled, like, is covering it, so he's like, alright, you ain't doing that again. He sort of does what a dog does to, like, protect it. He's like, oh God. As he's, like, doing a standoff again, he goes in close, but then this time he just completely throws her out of the way and touches the bomb. He's like, I'm going to the nurse's office. As he, like, limps away, he's, like, sort of slowly but surely. He's like, I need ice. Badly. Oh. As the whole thing goes on as it usually would. It was Mineta and Ida replaces the invisible girl who was supposed to be with Tailman, I believe. So as Ida's with Tailman, this whole thing still happens the same way it does. I believe it's Jiro and Kaminari who do deal with Mineta and Momo. So yeah, everything really goes the same way as it did in the anime. Nothing bad really happens. From then on, a couple weeks pass. They're all eating lunch, the four of them. And Deku's, like, still upset after, like, an entire week. She's like, oh, come on. Stop being such a big baby. He's like, as he just, like, locks eyes with her, he says this, do that again. He just says that he does not want her doing that again in a very cold voice. Don't do that again. She understands the seriousness and coldness in his voice. She's like, okay. Ugh. I got like this hair in my mouth or something. Momo and Katsuki are like, I agree, you went too far. Some of the others come and join him, like Ida, Kaminari, Kirishima. All of them just come and join as they're all sitting there. So, how was your guys' day? Oh, it was peaceful to an extent. It's just been the same thing we've been doing since we got here. It's been what, like 2-3 weeks since we got here to UA. I think it's not, dude. Time moves slowly for you. It's been, or moves so fast for you. It's been like only a week or two. Yeah, a week or two. It's like, I see. Well, as they like continue to talk and such, and he does like join Deku's like little friend group and such. No one knows that Deku, the quad, the four of them are dating. They all just know they all know each other from being like childhood friends and such. So as they continue forward, they find out the whole thing about Ida and her family. Stop yawning. Deku and such are all there at the table. Then the whole ringing happens as they're all rushing. They're like, "What is it? I don't know what's happening. Help us!" As the whole situation goes on, and for the whole class president, it was Deku and Saphira that were voted as them. Like, Saphira's saying she doesn't really want to do it, and so does Deku, but they're like, you were chosen via vote, deal with it. And Katsuki and Momo sort of voted for the two of them as well, with some of the other ones following him, like the guys following Deku, and a lot of the few other girls following Saphira. Getting to know them over the entire week, they can tell they're pretty cool. So it's pretty obvious. Deku just coming barely with like 15, while Saphira had... not 15, sorry, like 11, while Saphira had 9. So, yeah. Deku voted for Saphira, and Saphira voted for Deku. Oh, yeah. Dang it. So, as they got chosen for vice and normal president, they go on with their days. As they're like, the whole thing's happening, they're like, what's happening? As Deku looks outside and sees it's Aminia, as he's trying to push back, he's just getting pushed forward. So he gets fed up, transforms to third degree, and shouts at all of them, be quiet! As he shouts over this entire thing. Everyone just stops dead in their track. Why are you all shaking like little chihuahuas? It's just the press. Look outside. Plus, this is UA. Top defenses in the entire Japan, and probably one of the most well-defended places on the entire planet. Y'all need to calm down. God. So, as they all have their chill pills taken, the other classes sort of not respecting, but acknowledging this, they go on with their day. Now, for the USJ incident. Deku was praised and such, and yada yada yada. Now, the USJ incident. Unforeseen simulation joints. As that would happen, Deku and them sort of go on the thing. And they sort of talk with them about their quirks and how Deku's dragon ability is. Deku and All Might won't like have this like very tight-knit bond like they do in the anime, so forgive me if they aren't the main focus. But Deku has met Mirio within the week and such, because Night Eye introduced them. Night Eye kinda likes Deku. Like, she likes how he's like very... well, she just gets a feeling that he's like All Might and such. Just to like a slightly different degree. But I digress. As they go on and they talk about what it's like to be a dragon and such, they say it's pretty cool. It's just that certain things can get in the way. Oh, really? Like what? Instincts and such. These aren't like the normal things. They have a resistance to the instincts, but they can still be at time be somewhat controlled by them. There's like certain parts that they have more control over, while other things they don't. They're like, oh, can you give us an example? Well, the wanting to fly. Now, I don't mean like flap around a little bit in a couple circles. I mean long distances. Like miles around. Like, really? Well, that's the thing I feel. Also, I get very territorial, apparently. Yeah. And she's like, oh, that's an understatement. He's like, what? As she explains, okay, so we got so apparently there have been some dragons sighting around our village and such, or our little town, and around the surrounding areas. They're small fry. Nothing even I could beat them, but... yeah, apparently they all just, after Deku left, they just swarmed in. He was throwing a big fuss about it, like, when he first heard of it. I was not throwing that big of a fuss. You were! I'm like, I was worried about the village. Imagine if some of them decide to attack it. They got heroes defending it. It will be fine. There's, like, not rogue, but feral dragons such around there. And they're like, hold on. And she's like, even the fucking Chinese dragons. It's like, oh, don't even get me started on them. They're like, what's wrong with a Chinese? They're pompous and arrogant. Like, God, their god complexes are just out of control, I swear. As they're speaking, they're like, are they really that bad? I've had to fight one of them. What? I'll tell you guys later. It still upsets me just to think about those pompous, arrogant pricks. Some of the other ones are pretty cool. They'll just roar at you. If you show a bit of strength, they'll run away. That's how man just get so many off. Or out of there. So, as they continue forward and such. So, Saphira, have you ever had that instinct to, like, claim large plots of land? She's like, no, really, not really. I like to stay, I just, like, felt comfortable inside our little village. But I didn't mind flying out, like, a mile or two. Deku apparently, like, went for, like I said, miles around. He's like, what? I need a lot of room. She's like, you don't need that much room. It was like 12 miles. And then they all started showing up or something. I don't think that's a lot. I'll say 20 miles. And then dragons started coming in out of nowhere. Stupid. So as there are, like, going back and forth, like, bickering, Momo's like, well, that'd be, I wonder. So as some of them ask about, like, what Belle's views, and not Belle's, like Saphira and Deku's views on certain religions, she's like, what, like Christianity? Well, I'm glad they can't really hunt us down anymore, so that's a good thing. And as they continue on these talks and such, Momo, Katsuki, and all of them are, like, staying together. They get in there, and I gotta go real quick. And I'm back. So, let's see. They're going up to USJ. They get the whole speech from 13. Uraraka still talks about how 13 was one of her favorite superheroes and such. Deku's like, that's pretty neat. As they all continue to talk and such, the whole portal thing appears. Deku's the first to notice it. Deku has gone to 3rd degree by now. He's like, tells Saphira to get ready as well. She gets ready. They're all at the ready. As they're like, Aizawa, what's the plan, Miss Aizawa? 13, get them out of here. Saphira, you heard him. Go. Saphira's like, what makes you think you can say? Miss Aizawa doesn't stand a chance against that many of them. As he stops mid-sentence to see a dozen odd-looking figures. As they all take closer looks, all of them are horrified, disgusted, or just anywhere in between. Some of them don't even know what they're looking at. Deku starts shaking. Like, Saphira wonders what's wrong because she hasn't seen them yet. Then she looks at them. She just sees these disfigured, weird lizard thing hybrids. Some of them are just shaking. Some of them are just look dead. Some of them are rotting. It's just some weird stuff. As they're all looking, as Shigaraki notices this, she's like, oh, well, I see you notice, big ones here. Would you like an explanation? These are, well, it's one of the dragon slayers, or dragon catchers. Like, let me introduce you to our fine products. These are special modifications upon my part. They are meant to enhance everything about a dragon. Sure, they come out mixed up, but it is well worth it. As Deku sees this, and in his eyes, he just remembers what they heard, experiments each body part. Some of these are just sewn together. Dragons have been like Frankenstein's. Deku bellows out a roar that shakes the entire USJ. Full of bloodlust and rage, he's like, These abominations will die! As he goes full dragon, and just uses his energy and just shoots it down, blowing up several villains in the process. He's like, such abominations cannot be allowed to live. They will be annihilated. He is nothing but blind rage and fury. Saphira's and Katsuki and Momo are kind of terrified at seeing Deku. He's just shooting laser blast, fire blast, anything. He isn't at full size yet. He's still he's at half size at the moment, which is 17 feet. 77 feet, I believe. 77 feet is the size he's at, and he's just blowing these monsters away, claiming that they're foul abominations that must be annihilated. Some of them do get annihilated. As that happens, Deku goes into third degree to cool down a bit. He's telling Saphira to get everyone else out of here, and that he will deal with this. Aizawa tries to tell him to stop. He's like, listen, they must be put to rest. They've been messed with. Their minds are probably broken, if they even have any. It's a mercy that must be done. As he continues to walk forward to these things that come rushing at him, they are just malformed creatures of whatever the sick scientist could come up with. As he tears through them, there's 9 of them left, and then the horde of villains come rushing in. Deku smashes through them all, biting some villains, crushing and slamming his tail, and using his energy breath and such to just tear through them. Saphira is providing air support by breathing ice, causing them to be frozen or just freeze entirely. They aren't dead, they're just frozen stiff. Not Kurogiri, Shigaraki says, Kurogiri. He's talking to the doctor. Doc, I thought you said these things should be able to kill dragons or even put up a fight against All Might. Yet these kids are just tearing through them. He's like, see, those are... Well, I don't know who the blue one is, but that red one, he's special indeed. He's the one who broke out. I believe my employers would be excited to have him back in our midst. He says, call in this area and teleport the forces forward. As more forces start pouring in from Kurogiri's part, bringing in more abominations and such. Some of these are just grown in tanks and such. Sort of like how, if you don't know, I don't want to spoil it, but in the future, they get found out how some new moves are made, and that's similar to the tanks and such, and how they were made. And some of them are like that they're just in the tank, and body parts are formed through DNA samples and such, and then just smashed together, trying to make something out of anything, seeing if they could create new types, if some could form sentience, or some could have a fractured mind become whole again, that sort of stuff. Deku just tears through them all one by one. Some of them still coming after him after they've been pulled apart. Some of them have multiple limbs, multiple arms, multiple heads, not like a Hydra's. These things are just stitched onto a body. They aren't Hydras, they're just weird dragon, anthropomorphic sort of looking dragons and such, with multiple heads. That is why he's so disgusted and raged and everything above. After he tears through him, the Dragon Slayers come in and try to recapture him. He jumps back, flying backwards, telling Saphira to come to him as well. To deal with them, he goes full size. All of them are freaking out. They're what do we do? What do we do? Aizawa has had 13 evacuate everyone. Everyone has been evacuated. Kurogiri has been having to teleport around like crazy to avoid Deku's thing. He tries to teleport Deku away, but it doesn't work. He tries to get Saphira. She just uses his fire and just blasts through it, nearly roasting Shigaraki on the other side. Like at one point, they're tearing through these forces, Saphira flying high in the sky, with Deku being a living, breathing tank. When Deku sees the the Dragon Slayer's forces coming in, he literally charges up, grows to full size. Again, no one has seen him in full size, not even some of the dragon catchers or slayers. And as he grows to full size, some of them like, that's the biggest one I've ever seen, as they all say, teleport us out of here. He charges up the energy beam and gets him stuck. Kurogiri cannot teleport in. He has them all encircled in a giant fire pit. As he's doing a special move, he's flying above them, using his breath to get particles ready, and then sends out a tiny little star thing that just hovers to the ground slowly but gently. As soon as it touches to the ground, an entire, this is a pretty long thing, and it literally fries every single person within that circle. The Mad Doctor was able to get out of the way, but he's like, "You're next, crazy doctor!" As he's like, "Alright, teleport. Get me out of here, Shigaraki. The plan has failed. It's torn apart." He's like, "We still have the Nomu in battle. We still have the Nomu ready to go." He's like, "Your Nomu ain't gonna do shit to that guy. He just took out an entire professionally trained dragon hunters. You think you gonna do shit? Then fine, get me out of here at the very least as insurance. That was the agreement between my bosses and your master." It's like, Kurogiri, get him out of here. As he is able to teleport away, not before Deku shoots a laser beam inside the portal right after him. He manages to dodge, but still hits a thing inside their facility, causing an explosion that chain reacts and kills quite a few people. As the portal closes, he changes back. It's been 30 minutes and such of him just tearing through monsters and such. Since they've called All Might back, it's like, "I am here." As he looks over the amount of fire, ice, destruction, and explosions, and corpses that remain from the dragon hunters and the weird abominations, he's like, "Oh, crap." As Deku locks eyes with Shigaraki, he's like, "Where are they? Tell me, and I might let you live." He's like, not he. She's like, "How about this?" As she summons Nomu, she's like, "Nomu, kill him." As the Nomu comes rushing forward, Deku, not wasting any time, he rushes forward as well. He goes into his dragon mode and grabs onto the thing's arm, slinging it. Oh my, it's like, "I got it." Punching it super hard, sending it flying. Not flying, it just gets sent into a different direction. Because Deku's force, well, scratch that. It just crashes into All Might. Saphira has gone outside with the others. Deku the only one staying behind. Now that All Might's got that handled, he gets his claws ready, as he's about to tear Kurogiri and Shigaraki apart. Kurogiri tries to do that thing he did with All Might, get him drop to a portal and start to close it. It doesn't work on Deku though. He just moves through each and every portal, breathing fire and such to try and get Shigaraki and such off their feet. Shigaraki tries to get in close with his fingers and such to start decaying Deku. He smacks him away and kicks him, sending him tumbling away. At this point, Kurogiri starts to fear for Shigaraki's life. All Might is going pretty good against Sonobu since he's able to do his thing like he was in the anime that he was not able to do in the anime. Deku's keeping Kurogiri and Shigaraki busy while Aizawa and All Might are dealing with the Nomu. Since Aizawa can cancel out the Nomu's, like any of the Nomu's abilities, he decides to go for the shock absorption. So anytime the Nomu gets punched, it just sort of, the quirk disappears, and it's just feels like, well, it gets hit with the full force of All Might's punches. He eventually goes, and we're blasting off again! Deku's nearly on top of Kurogiri at this point, about to like just beat his face in. Then out of nowhere, another portal opens up with all of everyone's like, Kurogiri, open a portal now. I'll hit this youngster with a very decent punch. As a portal opens up as he's about to land on Shigaraki, All For One uses that whole arm thing and goes sending it through the portal, catching Deku like in the chest, his rib cage and such. Oh, it's totaled. His organs and such are all shaken up. He isn't gonna have damage like All Might and such. It wasn't like one of those, he's like, I don't want to kill him for about decommissioned, at least not yet. So as it hits him, his ribs, some of his internal organs and such have not blown up. They've like started to burst and they're damaged heavily. He's like, keep going. If you guys come after us, you won't be able to save him. Deku's like coughing up like a pool of blood. All Might getting the, like, remembering what happened to him. He's like, Aizawa, we must get him to safety. In this split second, she's like, dang it, All Might, they got away. As they like sort of pick him up and just carry him away, they go, God, he's bleeding. His internal organs must have like must have ruptured or something. Oh God, he must have rig fragments. Hopefully he doesn't have rig fragmentation inside his lungs or anything. Recovery Girl's gonna have a fun time with him. As All Might like has to, like, they're trying to get him there, but they're not sure, like they have like they're on the bus and it's just flooring it to back there. Deku in the back like coughing up like tons and tons of blood. The others are looking at Deku, who they just saw a moment ago take out almost single-handedly with Saphira's help, single-handedly taking out an entire little army. And now he's like on his back, like on his side, constantly coughing up blood. You don't put them on their back, otherwise they have the possibility of drowning in their own blood. So he's on his side coughing up into like a bucket that Momo has had to make, but they're like, they get the bucket and like they have to throw it out like. He's in 3rd degree at this moment, so he has quite a bit of blood to spare. His minor regeneration is like trying to stop the bleeding, but since the bone fragments are in him, and his internal organs and such, they're helping with the ruptured and such organs, but they can't do everything. As soon as they get there, they have like a Momo creates a gurney or something, and they're rushing him through the halls and such, just like, out of the way, out of the way, as he's like on his side still coughing into a bucket. Saphira's like, come on Deku, you can do it. All like 3 of them are there. You can do it, Deku, come on. You're the dragon, you're Pendragon. Remember Arthur Pendragon, the chief of dragons? You can't go out like this, come on, keep going. He's like, he can't even speak. He's speechless. He's on death's door right now. As they like burst open the door, it's like a girl and such getting checked out in there by recovery girl, like it was the checkups and such. As they burst in, All Might's like, oh God, we should have knocked. He gets out there. As they like rush Deku in, some girls are freaking out and such, but they take a second to. But first it was like, oh God, a boy's in here. Second off, then it's like, oh God, he's died. They're like, oh, okay, we'll do checkups later. we'll do checkups later. I need to focus everything I have on this boy. As she starts bringing out, she's like telling Aizawa and such, like, get all her medical equipment and such. This is gonna be a busy one. As she like has to like does very quick X-rays and such. It's like, oh god, he has bone fragments in his internal organs. As all the girls are ushered out of there, All Might's like had to go away because his time limit has pretty much broken. Like, he's run out. He wasn't as drained as he was originally, but yeah. He continues forward. Recovery Girl has to operate like all day, and even at one point calling on Queen Vlad, telling her that she needs to bring in some, we need some more blood bags and such. Try to find, as she's like, O negative. Trying to find as much O negative. Trying to find anyone with O negative. If I remember correctly, O negative, it's either O positive is the one that I can give to everybody, and there's another one that I can take from everybody. So I'm trying to remember. So since O neg is like, O negative is, I believe, I can't remember. I think it's O negative. I'm trying to remember which ones it is. It's like O negative or O positive is universal donor and such. So as Saphira like gives up some of her blood, and like only a few others in the school are able to give it to him because it's that rare of a blood type. So as they're like getting it done, they're trying to keep as much of it out as possible. They've even called a hospital saying that there's been a severe accident and they need as much whatever that they can get. And they've been able to send over like a and they say it's a student and the damage is very severe. Send some doctors as well. As they get like a full medical team there, because as far as I know, Recovery Girl is the only medical personnel there. And a helicopter even comes in, landing in as they get the whole operation set. As professionals, quote unquote, that are like on par with Recovery Girl come in, they're like, alright, so start the operation. As they like start having to get into Deku. Saphira, Momo, and Katsuki are all freaking out. They're like, Saphira almost had a breakdown and such. So I can't. She's like, calm down. Don't be fine. They're in the best hands possible. Several of them are like, what is the deal? Oh god. Saphira's like, she's like having a panic attack and such. It's that bad. They're all like, calm down, it's okay, it's okay. He's like in the best hands possible. Aizawa was like, look at me, Saphira. Repeat after me. He will be fine. Repeat after me. He will be fine. He's in the best medical care this side of the country. He's in the best medical care this side of the country. Several top-grade doctors are in there, and several of them have healing quirks. Top-grade doctors in the country, and they have healing quirks. He will be just fine. After that like little pep talk, she's like, it's okay now, just calm down. She's like, alright, I'm just gonna... As she used quite a bit of energy and such, because she went toe to toe with a few of those things as well. Some of them were flying, so yeah. Several hours later, Deku's hooked up and everything. They're like, they're getting cleaned off and such. They come out, he's okay, but he's unconscious. Thanks to a slight healing factor and such, he was able to hold on just long enough for us to save him. And we'll check over anyone else just to be safe. As they're like, everyone else is okay. Check on Aizawa and Saphira. They were like the only ones there. Alright, Recovery Girl will leave this to you. She's like, thank you guys. It was a real help. No problem. As some of them say, as Saphira's like, can we visit Deku? And she's like, it's gonna be a sad sight. As pretty much the entire class comes in, some of them are talking about that roar of rage and how he called them all all those things abominations. What was that all about? Saphira kind of explains that she couldn't tell right off the bat, but after getting a sense of smell and such, those things were a combination of other dragons smashed together. That's all she could really tell. But as they like look at Deku, he has like all these tubes and such hooked up to him. He's like hooked up to everything. She's like, he'll be fine. This is a precaution just in case anything happens. I see. All Might and Aizawa like talk with some of the teachers and such, speak to them and such about what they saw. And they say, Aizawa's like, I think I saw the shadowy one open a portal and a giant fist came out hitting him right in the ribcage. That like, did do that much damage? Like, oh my, what's your take on it? He's like, I'd say that boy right there is about, in my prime, I'd say he'd be around 40% of me in my prime. That's him when he was in that, what does he call it? Third degree. He's 40% of my prime in that form. The fact something punched a hole, pretty much almost punched a hole through him, it's surprising and bad. So, as that whole thing happens, Sphere wanted to stay, but she can't. Deku has to stay overnight. She can't save me during school hours. So, she goes with Katsuki. Dang it, Katsuki and such in their home, and they have the whole thing explained. The next day, Deku's still in. He's recovered when Recovery Girl got there and such. Recovery Girl, I don't know where she lives and such, but they had things like on hand that could handle anything. That's like automated systems and such that would, like droids and such, that would come in handy just in case anything happens. So as they're like at the ready, nothing really happens. Like there's even some heroes posted around just in case, because Night Eye's had heroes posted around them just in case dragon catchers or slayers come in contact and try to get rid of him while he's sleeping. Night Eye heard about this and even comes over saying that it's oddly familiar. As she walks in, she sees him all hooked up, and she just has the flashback to when All Might was like that, just like, oh God, tag him. Recovery Girl coming in at one point. Oh, Night Eye. Recovery Girl, it's good to see you. You know this boy? Yeah, I tried to get information out of him. He's almost killed me once, I believe. So, she's like, bringing back memories. Indeed it is. So, you gonna look into his future as well? I don't know. Should I? No, I shouldn't. If I remember correctly, Night Eye in the anime has this philosophy that, or idea that he doesn't predict it, but when he uses it, it causes what will happen. If I remember correctly, it's the entire thing. He's like, what if I'm the reason for All Might's whole death thing? That sort of thing. But as she's like, should be fine. She breaks it just to see if he'll live, but she doesn't see anything. She's like, that doesn't make any sense. As she like does it, she can't do it again, but she's like looking and it's just blank. There is nothing there, just nothing. She's like, I don't know what this is. And she takes in a deep breath, she's like, she looks at Recovery Girl, I don't see his future. I don't think he's gonna die, but I don't know. And that's where I'll leave it off. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.